I'm very pleased to introduce Paloma Merodio Gomez. Paloma is the Vice President at INEGI, the Mexican Institute of Statistics and Geography, and her presentation is going to talk about the use of geospatial data to support women's access to childcare services.
Good morning. My name is Paloma Merodio. I am Vice President of the National Institute of Statistics and Geography of Mexico, INEGI. I am honored to be here today, and I want to thank Esri for the invitation and opportunity to share a brief example of the geospatial work that we do at INEGI, which is focused on the use of geospatial information to harmonize methodological decisions for the creation of national statistics and cartography. Today, I want to share how geospatial data can contribute to the production and dissemination of statistics that matter and that can convey impact. INEGI has produced information about the territory and its dynamics for over 35 years. Today, we want to showcase how this information can provide directions to policymakers. With exercises that involve data and methods, as well as unconventional technologies, the institution is directed towards a more active role with efforts to prepare information, helping agencies in their understanding of territorial problems. INEGI is also committed to developing and making visible projects and statistics that show the condition of women and their participation in society, with the aim of promoting equity through information. Through efficient communication methods such as a story map, we can provide to a wide audience a demonstration of the benefits of using geospatial data to strengthen the message and thus help local authorities better measure development indicators. In this sense, we are going to show a storytelling mechanism focused on geospatial visualizations entitled Women's Access to Childcare Services. Does the proximity of services promote women's economic autonomy? This story map is an example of the use of geocoded statistics processed through machine learning algorithms to provide policymakers specific and targeted information for their action. This story map was developed by the National Institute of Statistics and Geography of Mexico to show the role of geospatial approach to reduce the data gap and facilitate the communication on the 2030 Agenda measurement methods. Women devote a significant portion of their time to caring for other people, as part of generally unpaid, unqualified, and unrecognized work. Their great participation in the paid labor force benefits their living conditions and the entire community, allowing a faster and equitable economic development. Women have specific activities and needs. They need to benefit uniformly from essential services that allow their empowerment and well-being. Access to services for all is a matter of development based on spatial justice. The observation and monitoring of accessibility to services is crucial to spatially measure gender and social gaps, and thus support territorial decision-making. Is the proximity of different services, in particular care, a dimension that facilitates the integration of women into the workforce? To answer this question, the first challenge was to make a classification of services according to the support they provide to women. This led us to experiment with natural language processing models to classify the National Statistical Directory of Economic Units, detect the services, purposes, and target population, and create a replicable system for other databases. The groups of services are health of women and children, primary and secondary education, and childcare. They are then sorted by their level of need, whether they are basic, intermediate, or specialized, in order to attribute a maximum threshold of access time by road. We can see how these services are distributed, the inequality of access to intermediate services in urban areas, the disaggregation of urban areas access depending of the type and range of services, and a focus on specific region of Chiapas in the geographical context where the access to services is in question. how are these conditions of communities with low or high access to care, health, and education services? Focusing on two states, Chiapas and Nuevo León, does proximity to care services have a relation with the profile of population? And does it promote the participation of women into the workforce? We observe a positive correlation between the participation of women in the workforce and proximity to service, and between the lack of proximity and indicators of marginality, a low level of housing, services, and goods, the lowest average level of education, etc. The following maps compare the participation of women in the labor force and some characteristics of communities with or without access to services. These analyses were a sample of indicators in the process to form a more complete observatory on the national territory. This work will continue through a continuous improvement of the machine learning model for replicability, a definition of geospatial indicators to observe territorial conditions, the systematization of analysis in a dynamic platform to monitor over time and inform local policy. We will continue showcasing the use of geospatial information for decision-making in benefit of women, children, and vulnerable communities. I hope that this story map has showcased the use of geospatial information for gender equality. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Paloma. Hopefully you can hear me. And again, if you'd like to join me at the virtual top table, that would be great.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm
yeah,
here, and I hope that you can see me too. Okay.
We can see you and we can hear you, Paloma. Great. Thank you. Thank you again. And let me just see what questions, if any, are coming in at this stage. Very nice use of story maps, by the way. I like that. That was great.
Yeah, thank you. We believe that this is part. I mean, INEGI as a national statistical office, we've always have this challenge in terms of how to communicate our information to the public, and we believe that this kind of storytelling mechanisms can really show and bring people closer to the information. It's a challenge that I guess all the NSOs have, and of course the mapping agencies, in terms of how to communicate to the users and how to effectively bring statistics and geospatial information to the table. So I think story maps are one of the mechanisms that we can use to come together with the users and the community, and of course decision makers, in order to achieve this kind of relationship and effective communication.
I fully agree. I think story maps have been a huge success, and we're seeing wonderful story maps being created all around the world. I'm wondering, are you seeing the right impact though? Are you seeing that this is really affecting and changing policy for the better?
Well, we've through what we call the National System of Statistics and Geography, we have a continuous communication and a collaboration with different agencies of the Mexican government and different entities with respect to this specific project where we want to showcase how our unit, as you can see in the video that was just shown, what we did, we geocoded all of our economic units that were recopulated in our economic census, and having this statistical geocoded information, we were able to then work out through this statistical information to understand where there are those gaps and where are these women located where they cannot access basic services such as childcare services or health services in the country, and then try to put that in a map, in a mechanism. But of course, we have a lot of information that we can convey and that we interact with other agencies through this system, through committees and regular meetings that we hold with them. And usually there we look into what are the main sources of information that INEGI needs to produce in order to help achieve the policy objectives, and of course also the international agenda, such as the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. So we believe that these kind of mechanisms are trying not just to put out the information in probably spreadsheets or maps that someone else needs to analyze, but we want to bring these with these kind of techniques to the table, to the ministries, to the agencies, so they can start looking deeper and helping them use the information in the right way for their own use. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so really creating information products that really address specific policy challenges.
Yes.
Are you working on other policy areas as well beyond women's access?
Well, yes, we as INEGI, how we are organized is that we have four what we call subsystems of information. Me and the vice president, I'm in charge of geospatial, natural resources, and urban planning. But of course, there are other vice presidents that are in charge of socio-demographic information. We also have the area of justice and government, where we also do some gender-specific projects and statistics. And there's also, of course, the economic vice presidency that goes into all of this information. And what we're showing here is what we call like a transversal project, because of course gender is transversal, but we're showing here not only socioeconomic statistics of where are women located, but we're also showing economic information about the economic units and where the services are provided. And we're putting that into our geospatial information and looking in with a gender equality lens. So I really wanted to show this project because we believe that it's transversal within how we organize our work here at INEGI. And we're showing how, although there's the department that sees geospatial, now geospatial is everywhere, right? So in all of these different departments, we really interconnect and topics like geospatial information and gender are transversal and need to be put together in order to convey impact and to bring the information or complete information to the table, right?
Yeah, great. Many thanks, Paloma, and many thanks again for sharing the project with us. It's much appreciated.